today is going to be push, pull, push, pull, upper body. First up, pull-ups. So we last week, I think I missed a few days of filming, but not of training. But the last few days, Rach has been ill, which is obviously not good for her. But it also means I can't get to the gym. So instead, I've just been training here. Now, today's session, and for the whole of this week, I'm going to assume that I can only train here and I can't go to the gym. So I planned what I'm doing this week based on that. Now with this, today and moving forwards now, I've got like a whole new range of things I can do. So as you can see, I am not wearing the braces. I'm free balling it. And I just had an excellent and then a terrible experience. So what I did was I went for a walk. So I basically walked up and down the drive for the last, it's probably about 25-30 minutes. In total, I did about 1,000 steps. But no crutches, no braces, no frame. I just did the drive, so I'm not having to navigate curbs and steps and people. It is on a decline, it's not level, so it's like a good place to basically try walking out. So that was good. So that was all fine. And then I was walking back through down here, and there's a patch of mud which I didn't realise was wet. I stepped on it, slipped, and it just jarred my knee. Now everything's fine, it was just a temporary like stab right in the sole. So that was fun. So really positive the walk, and then quite negative the stabbing. But everything feels fine, which is obviously good. And then today I'm going to actually get on with some training. So now that I've like had a couple of weeks of being back doing things, what I'm doing is I've decided to go with some AMRAPs through my training as a way to keep me interested, and instead of just keeping pushing the load higher and higher and higher on stuff, because at the minute, although I want to train heavy, if I'm being objectively sensible with stuff, just putting more and more load on is probably not the way to go. So what I'm going to do instead is use slightly lighter loads, but aim to beat AMRAP targets. So for example, today I'm going to start off with pull-ups. I'm just going to do a couple of sets with 5 kilos, as many reps as I can. I probably aren't going to be doing loads of reps, maybe like 2-3 reps, I don't know. And then close grip bench, I'm going to do 100 for 3 sets of 5. So considering, what did I do last week? I did 100 last week, I think. And then I'm going to do 90 for an AMRAP. I'm going to give myself a limit on the AMRAP of 15 reps. I don't know if I'll get that high. So then next week I'll just add a couple of kilos and just keep progressing from there. So I'm still going up in load, but it means that, say I do 90 for 10 this week, and I adapt faster than if I could. So if I only program to do 90 for 10, then next week 92.5 for 10. But if I adapted faster than that, so I had the capacity to do 92.5 for 15, I can, but it's without the risk of increasing the load super heavy. That makes sense in my head. I don't know if it's making sense the way I'm explaining it. And other general bodybuilding stuff. Anyway, set number 1. At least 2 reps would be good. That's not bad as a starting point. Hi Rach. Jess is just out here, by the way. What, for food? Maybe she's mad that I let her go outside. She went out the front door when I came out, but I didn't want to leave that one open, so I just left that side door open for her instead. Right, set 1 done. So I thought I'd connected this. Yeah, set 1 done. We'll go for another set and another set. Ideally I get the 3 in all of them, but we'll find out soon. Food wise, I just downed a Fortisip and some kefir just before I came in here, and then I've got a shake there. I didn't want to down that and then come in here straight away, so instead I've got it to have whilst I'm in here, because then after this session it will be basically lunchtime. Right, set 2. So 3 is the minimum goal now. And so for this session, the order of the session, so if you're training just for hypertrophy, you generally would put body parts closer together, because then that means that you'll need less total load to stimulate your muscles close to failure, whilst still using at least like 60% of your max. When you're training for strength, I would split up the muscles, even if you're training the same muscle in a session, so that your performance is higher on them. So for example, I've got pull-ups, then close grip bench, then back to pull downs. What that means is my performance in pull downs would be slightly better than if I did pull-ups then pull downs. The rationale for doing both is, with the pull-ups, I'm doing them in like a heavier rep range, so sets of like 2 to 6, whereas with the pull downs, the plan for them is a higher rep range, so like 6 to 12. You can't prioritize strength and muscle growth at the same time. By definition, you can't, but you can have both of them as quite high priorities. So like for me, I would say strength is still a priority, but it's not that much more of a priority than hypertrophy. Anyway, at least 3. Three. That was all right. So the training, so what my plan for training has evolved somewhat, as these things do. For some reason, so Rachel goes to her gym 3 times a week. She goes Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. My gym is like 5 minutes away from there. So what we do is we combine the two. What Rachel does is she trains for 2 hours 3 times a week. So what that means is those 3 days when I go with her, realistically it's about 3 hours out of the day, because travel time and everything else. I don't know why, but in my head I decided that I needed to go and use the gym all 3 of those days. But the problem is that's 3 hours out of my day each time, and in full 2 hours at the gym. So I'm there slightly longer because I get dropped off first, because obviously I can't drive. I just find myself, I train and then just be filling the time with stuff instead of keeping training. And I've once or twice I've taken my laptop and start working, but it's not the same as working properly. And then it's so stupid, but it hit me yesterday, like, why do I have to go every single one of those sessions? That doesn't make any sense. So ignoring this week, because this week with Rach not being well, we just won't be going. But after this, I'm only actually going to go twice instead, so that will save me time. So the layout of my training week is going to be slightly different to what it was last week and prior weeks. But again, it's because it's like a constant evolving process at the minute. So I'm not the same. Like even midweek things are changing with what my legs can and can't do. So at the minute, it's hard to have a set program, if you like. But that's why I've just picked a few movements to do AMRAPs and stuff on, as have them as being fixed. There's my lower body stuff that's more variable. So today, upper, tomorrow, lower. So Monday, upper, Tuesday, lower, Wednesday, push, it's only a short session, Thursday, pull, so that will be at the gym. Friday, lower body 2, Saturday, upper body, and then Sunday, lower body 3. The 3 lower body sessions, the rationale there is I'm beyond, no, that's a lie. So I'm doing rehab every day, but then there's rehab where it's like pushing a bit more and then training hamstrings. But I'm not in a position where I can load properly. So instead of loading heavier or doing higher volume in each session, I've split it up into 3 sessions. So that's why. And I prefer the routine of just training every day. And when I was doing the strength stuff, I had at least the routine of the cardio every day to keep me consistent with what I'm doing. So this way it'll be lifting every day, but they're not all going to be heavy, obviously. Right, last one. Just 3. Right, so next week I'll either stick with the same weight of 5 kilos and try and do more reps, or go up and stick with the same reps, or just add an extra set. So there's a few things I can use as to make that decision. So like how recovered I feel, soreness, that sort of thing. But for right now, I'm going to see how I am over the course of the rest of the week. So for now, that will do for today. So 3 fail 4. I couldn't have done that 4th rep on that set. Potentially on the first set, I maybe could have done one more, but we'll never know. So like this is a big change. Is that like I can move this around much more freely. And so I called the series that I'm doing on Instagram Hospital to Hercules, because I thought, well, it was suggested to me, but I also think that being Herculean quite nicely sums up what I actually want from training and stuff. So I'm going to leave it like that. So basically I want to look Herculean and be Herculean. So even at my most muscular, I still wasn't very lean. And at my leanest, I wasn't very muscular. So it'd be good to try and get to like a PB in both. Obviously my legs are going to be a limiting factor there, but my upper body can be muscular. Right, so the plan is 100 for some 5s. Well, I was going to say that might be optimistic starting weight, but I don't think it is. Something else as well, such a trivial thing, but I found my smartwatch. I say smartwatch. Oh, this plate is only 19.6 kilos. Oh, I need to swap it out for one of them. That's shaking me now. I'm just kidding. Beard, stray beard hair. Yeah. What was I saying? Can't be that important, can it? This one's 19.6 as well. Yeah, I need to swap these out. It's only like a tiny bit different. but it's fake PBs if I use these. Still can't do a full squat to this depth with my legs controlling it. I could maybe stand up from there, but it seems silly to go from zero tension to full body weight like that. So yeah, Herculean physique and strength. So nutrition has dropped. My nutrition intake has dropped. So excuse me. So I've gone from 3,775 calories to 3,440. And what I've done, the reason I've come up with those numbers is because I've been using macro factor for a couple of years actually, but I wanted to let the data settle when I restarted getting weighed and tracking and everything. So now that it has, basically yesterday I changed it from manual to collaborative. So in the collaborative one, you tell it what your goal is, what your goal rate of weight change is, and it gives you your calorie targets, and then it gives you suggestions on macros, and then you can change them. So I did that. I set it to 0.3 kilo of loss a week, and so it determined that for me, given my current intake and what's actually happening with the data, that's the appropriate amount of calories. And then I just changed the macros to fit more what I prefer. So 225 protein still. Carbs, I think maybe 450 or 470. I don't know off the top of my head. 4 something. And then fats just 70. So that's what I've started. So today will be the first day of that. And my goal as well is I'm going to try and do 2,000 steps a day on average. It's about 1,400 now. Bearing in mind I've not been wearing this watch. I've had my phone in my pocket, so it doesn't count time in here and stuff. So it might not actually be that much of an increase, but something I am doing is, or I intend to do, I've only done it once obviously, is to actively go for a walk. Like I have done this morning, and then gradually I want to increase the distance of that. So it's not just about the total steps over the day. I want to increase the total steps that I can do in one serving, in one walk. Anyway, set number 1. See if 5 is alright. So that was fine. I can start to feel it, but not too bad. Still think I could have done 3, 4, maybe more reps. Although saying that, now my pecs and my triceps feel mega pumped. So that's not a bad thing really, is it? I'm going to do one more. You alright? Yeah. I was just re-racking. But yeah, everything's fine. Thank you. I don't think she stood on the other side of the door listening just in case. I think she might be stood on the other side of the door listening just in case. Oh no, I've actually planned to do 2 more sets of 5. But I'll see how it goes. I'm on like a time for today. I've got a time limit of how long I can train for, but it might be tight actually. Yeah, I don't know, we'll see how the next set is. If it's still fairly comfortable, then I'll like, not rush, but like move through it fairly quick. If it's no good for time, then I won't. So the plan is pull-ups, close grip, pull downs, barbell curls, flexion rows, laterals, and calves. The calves I don't have to do in here, I can do them at any time during the day. Same for any of it really. The laterals and calves, I could definitely do them as a separate session. Like I could come back and do them after if I need to. So they're not a problem. I also have my rehab stuff to do, but so now what I'm doing is I'm trying to split my rehab up from my training. Not because I don't think I should do them together, but so that I give the full attention to both. My rehab sessions are getting longer in terms of what I'm doing. So now I want to focus on training when I'm training, rehab when I'm rehab, instead of trying to mix the two together. And the other thing I'm doing is with the rehab session, I'm also stretching, doing extra stretching stuff. So like for example, I'm stretching my groin out, my hips, because my hips haven't really been opened at all the past 3 months. But I mean, if you look back, look at how I'm sat now compared to even 2 weeks ago, I couldn't be in this position. It's like, this is obviously a big improvement. I mean, the range of motion there is not bad at all. Just holding here is stretching my knees out. It probably doesn't look like much, but that's just beyond the range of motion, which is comfortable. But what I want to get to is my calves and my hamstrings touching. So I need to get massive calves, massive hamstrings, and more flexible knees. Right then. Set 2. That was alright. I think that's probably enough for the heavier sets, to be honest with you. It's starting to be a thing in my wrists again. I think they're just not used to the load going through them at the minute. Well, it's just taking time to get used to it. So next up is going to be 90 for an AMRAP. So we'll get that in. My next big like rehab milestone is going to be steps, being able to get up them. So my session tomorrow, so with the rehab stuff, basically range of motion rehab every day to like a low to, I say a low intensity for like the basic sessions, but then my 3 leg sessions, they have higher intensity stretching and actual loading, and they're just at 3 days a week, because doing that every day now will be too much, because I actually do get DOMs in my quads and I don't want to overdo it, because it'd be very, very easy to overdo it. So in those sessions, I mean, you'll see tomorrow, but I'm going to have squats, so squats to the box. I'm going to have, so quad specific stuff I'm talking here, squats, leg extensions, and now I'm under instructions to do leg extensions with load. So I think I've got some ankle weights in here somewhere, so I'm going to try using them for that. If not, it'll be a band or something, or I could attach a band to a small weight or something, that'll be fine. And then step ups, that's the big one that I'm excited for. So I don't know if you can see, there's like a 1 inch height here that I can do step ups onto. But I've got some blocks, some wedges, and I've got loads of mats as well that I can use to build up the height gradually. So I need to be able to first have the range of motion to get my foot onto a step, and then it's to actually do the full step up and lift myself up, because at the minute steps are just a no. So it'd be good to be able to do that. That's a big thing I'm looking forward to working on. And then the other thing is cycling. I want to be able to use my exercise bike. So I've got two. I've got a recumbent one, which is where you sit back like that. I've got a proper bike egg one, which is where you set up. You need about 100 degrees of flexion in your knee to cycle on these ones anyway. So I'm looking forward to that, so I can start doing the cardio more regularly, and then I think that will really help with the knee, with going through that kind of just about end range, relax, end range, relax, end range, relax. And that'll be really handy, and obviously good for the cardio, good for me to get my activity up without all the time being on my feet, because at the minute the walking, it still is my feet, that's the limiting factor. Balance is so. So when I was walking earlier, walking completely fine, walking, pulled my phone out to do something, feel very unstable. So like I can't multitask when I'm walking is like 100% concentration. So anyway, 90, cap of 15. I don't know if I'll get 15. Place your bets now. Okay. Nowhere near 15. I think that was 10. I think, yeah, I think that was 10. Mega delusion. That's not great. I think I've done, so I was looking earlier, I've done 120 for 7. So to hit 90 for 10, that's quite some way to go. But it is what it is. At least I know that that was actually a 10. I don't know if it looked like a 10, but if I'd have gone for another one, I would have failed it. So my legs were going involuntarily. I was trying to keep them still, but they just weren't. So yeah, I'm like pleased that it's done, but slightly disappointed with the result. I would have liked it to be higher, obviously, but it's not bad as a starting point, really, is it? So next up is pull downs, which is going to be 45 kilos for a minimum of 6 reps, sets of 6, ideally. I found my straps as well, because I don't want my straps to limit my back strength. But what I've also done is, in my preliminary plan, I've included some hangs and some grip stuff to make sure that grip doesn't become a problem long term, ready for when I come back to deadlift 300 kilos. So we'll go without first and see how that goes. tell you what, I could do that as an exercise. Do squats to the box, holding this. That actually works quite nicely. I need to remember that, because then it can be less than bodyweight squats. What would we call that? Lat pull down assisted squat to bench. Do on Tuesday. I like that. That was 8 reps. I'm definitely going to use that. And then after this, curls, flexion rows, laterals. Let's get the bar out whilst I'm waiting. So I've got 3 bars in here. I've got a normal bar, a deadlift bar, and a squat bar, because you can never have too many bars. Could do with that being elevated a little bit actually. I've got a small mat. I'm doing another set first. So last set was 8. Good pump. That felt like a good set. Got the heart rate going there. That's nice. This is for the cows, by the way. Right. Last set. I have got a bar that I can pull across to go on top of my legs actually. The only thing is, I don't know how this will be on my quads. I'll give it a go. And we'll see if this is too uncomfortable. I didn't feel like I needed my straps on those few reps yet. Maybe when I start trying pushing the reps higher I might, but for right now it feels okay. Right, let's see how this is, because my quads are quite tender to touch, but only at the site of the injury. That felt like similar level of difficulty. I wasn't really using this, it was just kind of grazing my legs. So it wasn't helping me stay in position, but it was causing me pain. That seems like a terrible trade-off. I'm not going to use that. Something I have been thinking about. My skin over the wound around here. It doesn't feel great. The surgeon said it was complex regional pain syndrome. I think he's just being dramatic, to be honest. So I don't think it's that bad. But anyway, it means that wearing anything on it is very uncomfortable. And I've been thinking about like ways to desensitize it basically. And so like wearing these baggy shorts that hang over my knee, there's like a constant background level of discomfort with them, but it gradually has been getting better. Like, not better. I've been gradually getting more numb to it and not as aware of it over the course of like walking and moving around, to where the discomfort is like barely noticeable. Like it's there when I start thinking about it, but it's not there so often. So like I'm kind of forgetting about it, like forgetting that it's there. So that is part of my plan, to basically desensitize it. And it seems to be working okay. Look at that mobility. Right, Kels. Look at that. This was maybe not the best way to get out of there, but I've done it now, so what can you do? So 22.5, 10. Let's move these out. Excellent. Let's move these out my way. Or I'll just make more of a mess instead. That'd be helpful, wouldn't it? Got these great summer chairs. They're real good for, you know, when it's sunny. But because we live in Britain, that's not a thing. So basically, they're pointless. Just moving some bits ready for the flexion rows. So the rehab session, there will be single leg balances, calf stretches, quad stretches, hamstring movements, and some hip stretches. That's the majority of it. I've not got a lot of time left. This might have to be might just need to go quicker. just taking these weights off as a break, and then get straight on with the next thing. And the good thing about the flexion rows is I don't need to put any weight on the bar yet, because balance is also part of them for me at the minute. I'll look at doing it on a deficit another session, but for right now I just need to get these done. They are unpleasant. You get a massive pump. You can really feel them working as well. So, laterals and calves. The good thing about laterals, for me anyway, is that I spent like 5 years of doing them every single session. So now my side delts are like relatively well developed. So it doesn't take much to maintain them or bring them back. Send those calves. It was 6 below par quality reps, and then 4 floor reps. Basically the higher height reps and trying to just gradually make them better, but at the minute they're not very good. So then I'm finishing off the set off the floor. Part of that's because my Achilles are so tight from not walking and stuff for so long that I just can't get that far down, and partly it's like the stability, and that I just can't, even with hanging on, I just can't balance. So it's just one of those things, like I say, of like just little progressions here and there as much as I can. One more set of these and then that'll be it. So next up, I finish this, I need to get a shower, and I've got a meeting. Should have time, and then I need to eat. That's part of why I had the shake in here instead of waiting. So that time even less reps on the ones with a stretch. 4 plus 6. And that's it for today. So I just need to come and stand here so it looks like I'm making a thumbnail. Just stand like this. There we go, there's the thumbnail. I will, what I'll do is tomorrow will be the squat session, like the lower body, the squat session, the lower body session. I'll share that, and then one day I'll share my full rehab session with you instead of it being as part of another video. I'll do it as a separate thing. So if anybody wants to see what an actual rehab session is, then you'll have that to go through. Anyway, with that said, take care. See you tomorrow. Good night. All that stuff.